right. So we are live, and I welcome everyone to the Women's Empowerment Series. This is episode 36. And I'm so excited to welcome Cassie Shea, who's connecting all the way from California, to be with us today. The Women Empowerment Series is a series where we showcase and we present different women leaders who are doing amazing work, impacting people's life and changing people's life so that they can inspire and share their story, and also give some hints, some nuggets or some advice about what they do. So welcome, Cassie. Such
Thank
an
you so
honor to
much.
have you today.
Thank you so much for having me, and super excited for this conversation this morning or
Actually,
this
yeah,
evening
evening
worldwide.
for we are evening, the Dubai section, or evening as well. But hey, it's morning for you in
Yeah.
California. It's so nice. So I'm gonna let you. Hi, Miriam. Some people, if you're joining us, let us know where you're connecting from. We would love to welcome you. And if you're watching us on replay, the hashtag replay. And if you have any question for Cassie or for myself, we'd love to answer to all of that. So welcome, Miriam. I see all those beautiful faces joining us. And I would like to let you introduce yourself, Cassie, and tell us what you do and what you're working on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. And women's economic empowerment is something very near and dear to my heart. So I left the corporate space 3 years ago. It's actually my
Mm,
anniversary this week of choosing, thank
congratulations.
you, to move away from corporate and start my own business. So super happy to take any questions about what that transition looks like. When I
We have
was
some women who are like that. Miriam and Lubna is joining us. So if you have any questions, this is amazing, because a lot of questions that people have is they have this beautiful project, but they need that courage to kind of step into the entrepreneurship area. So congratulations. And 3 years, that means you're doing great. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Like any
Mm.
journey, there's cycles. And so
Yeah.
there's ups, there's downs. But I think business is one of the most beautiful adventures and endeavors you can undertake because it teaches you about yourself. So I believe business is one of the best personal
Mm.
development containers because it takes, like you mentioned, courage. It
It does.
takes you activating
Yeah.
all of your gifts, skills, talents, know how, and experience,
Uh-huh.
and learning how to present yourself to the world. So
Yeah.
I've been a coach and a consultant now for 3 years. I've
Okay.
advised 7 and 8 figure CEOs, usually around the intersection of people
Hmm.
and operations. Those are my two areas of expertise in corporate. So I went from entry level employee to executive in 4 years
Well
in my
done.
20s.
Congratulations.
Thank
Wow.
you. And
Mm.
I got to sort of the top of the career ladder and realized there's something missing. And the something missing piece was me really owning my creative process and really owning this desire to be an entrepreneur. And
Mm.
so taking that leap of faith was a really big commitment, not just to figuring out the business side, but
Mhm.
really honoring my dream and vision and
Mm.
realizing that there's never going to be a perfect or optimal time,
Mhm.
and
That's true.
choosing to stop being a perpetual student and start being a perpetual activator.
I
So
love that. I love that. But how did it manifest? How did you feel that? What is it in, you, how did you see it in yourself that this is not corporate, it's not for you, this is not the place for you? How did you feel it?
yeah, I think, when you mentioned feel it, it was kind of a feeling in my body. And I
Wow.
was experiencing a lot of illness
Oh,
and discomfort and just overall not feeling well. And there was never a diagnosed condition. But what I
mhm.
realized is I wasn't really being truthful about what
Mm.
I truly wanted. And I wasn't using my time to do the things that my heart was calling me to. And
That's
so,
right.
what that looked like for me is that I gained a lot of weight. I felt really stressed out. I
Mm.
didn't feel well in my body. And
Wow.
so, part of what led me to the entrepreneurship journey was learning actually how to not just listen to my intuition and kind of honor the dream, but
Mhm.
also realize that our well being is connected to how we're feeling day to day.
Of
And there
course.
was something out of alignment. And it was so out of alignment for me to continue on this corporate path that my body was actually giving me signals. It
Mm.
was saying, hey, stop,
Wow.
listen. I need you to listen and take a step back.
That's amazing, because you listen to the signals. Often we don't listen to them. We don't really, we kind of, we go through burnout, we don't feeling good, and we kind of push ourselves to motivate ourselves. Yeah. We have a comment saying, "Nice to listen to being in a perpetual activator."
Hmm.
Hmm. So I guess it's about, you listening to yourself and using your intuition to guide you to wherever you want to be. And so how was it to start and be an entrepreneur? So you left corporate, bye bye, I'm starting new. How was the first days and the first weeks of your journey?
Yeah, well, it took a very interesting turn very quickly. So that was January of 2020. So we're
Okay.
talking about right before the global
Before COVID.
COVID-19
Oh
pandemic.
my
Mhm.
God, that's
So
right.
I resigned my corporate role in January of 2020.
Uh-huh.
I secured a contract to go work for an amazing company in London. So I was based in Los Angeles at the time.
Yes.
I had a glass penthouse overlooking all of Los Angeles,
Nice.
kind of
Mhm.
all of these external markers of success, but life
Yes.
didn't feel like my life. It didn't feel like the life I wanted. It didn't feel like a
Mhm.
life that really reflected my
Yeah.
hearts and dreams and desires.
It's like you
And
had
so
everything to be happy, like the perfect apartment, the perfect job, the perfect outfits, and something felt missing. Yeah.
totally. So
Wow.
for me, it was a great lesson in not placing my identity in things outside of me.
Yeah.
I had all the external markers of success, like you mentioned, but I
Yes.
felt really empty inside and I was really hungry for something different. And so I realized it wasn't just for me personally, it wasn't going to be enough to take little incremental changes. I needed to do a complete life overhaul. So
Oh.
I packed up my stuff into storage.
Yeah.
I moved to London in
Wow. You did like
February
the
of
movies. Isn't
2020.
it like the movies? You're like, okay,
It was
I'm
great.
okay. Yeah. Good for you.
It was one of the best decisions of my life. I had always wanted to move out of my home country, and I'd
Uh-huh.
never done that experience. And it was really a leap of faith. And a lot of times people talk about, taking a leap before the net and
Mm.
trusting that the net will appear. And
Mm.
that was a big part of my journey. I just knew I had to make a change. I
Yeah.
knew that I had to do something radical to
Mhm.
shake myself up
Yeah,
and like
sure.
give myself a different life experience.
Mhm.
And since I remember watching a movie when I was 6 years old, and it was
Okay.
all about an American moving to Italy. I don't even remember what the movie was. I just
Ah,
remember
that's
being
so
6 years old.
nice.
And so from
Okay.
the time I was 6 years old to 30, so
Yeah.
24 years,
And you
that
kept
was
it in your
my
subconscious mind.
number one dream. And there was so many ways I could have done it before. Like I could have done it a study abroad program in university.
Right?
I could
That's
have
right.
done my graduate degree overseas, which I
Internship.
didn't think about.
Oh, yeah.
Internships, working for an international company.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different ways to make your dreams come true.
Mhm.
But I didn't
Very.
trust
Mhm.
that the dream was worth pursuing. And so I kept my dreams small. And I kept telling myself with the corporate career, well, I just need a little bit more money. I just need the next title. I need the
Yeah.
next raise. And I realized like there's never going to be a point where I've collected enough
Yeah.
to actually take the leap. So I had to do it. It was
Yeah.
it was just a big, I call it like it wasn't really a quarter life crisis. It wasn't really a midlife crisis. It was
It's
a
not 'cause you're still so
turning
young.
30. Yeah, it was a turning 30 crisis. And I was starting a new decade of my life. And I realized I have to do something radical. So I moved to London at an
I
amazing contract job. I only worked 4 days a week. So I was
uh-huh.
traveling around Europe. I went to Madrid. I went all over
So nice.
England. I lived in this amazing flat. I made so many friends. And it only lasted for 3 weeks. I was on one of the
'Cause of
last flights
COVID.
home. I was on one of the last flights home when they were closing the borders for COVID.
Oh, really? So you made it back because you could have been stuck there for months, right? Yeah.
London was one of the last first world cities to shut
That's
down
true.
with
That's
COVID,
true.
and so
Yes.
I left
March.
in
Mm.
March, and it was
Mm.
a day or 2 days before the borders closed, and that was one of the biggest moments of grief in my life,
Mm.
because it felt like I had finally gone all in on my dream, and
Mm.
it didn't work out the way I expected,
You have a lot of
and
fun, Miss Cassie. Your decision to change was truth. How you did, how you continue to do it. Wow. So, Kate, you have a lot of comments here. That's really sweet. And you keep and love and you keep inspiring. So you are inspiring a lot of people because not everybody takes an image from a movie and make it a reality. We don't
mm,
get scared in doing that. I thought you were gonna say that movie where you have, this the woman who is in Los Angeles and then the other one in England and they swapped
mhm. Yeah,
apartments.
I
I
love that
remember.
movie.
Yeah,
The
that's a beautiful.
Holiday.
What is
Mhm.
it called?
The Holiday with Kate
Yeah, the
Winslet.
holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Cameron
yeah,
Diaz.
that has
Hmm.
inspired a lot of women also to do the same and do the swap. But that's fun because your life is your own movie, so created as you want it to be. And it's so,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's what you did, and you look at all the sparks in your eyes when you talk about it. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, so a lot of people saying what a story. Hi Layla, hi Zahra, so nice to
Mhm.
see you. Hi Linda, hi Lindy. It's good to see. So you came back, and that was,
Yeah,
and then you started your coaching business. That's when you started it during COVID.
I did. So I did a couple of things
Mm-hmm.
when I came back. I started my business, and at the time, I was advising 7 and 8 figure CEOs.
Mm.
So
Young
it
to be advising seven,
was.
eight figures.
So again, the idea was helping people look at the intersection of people and business operations. And one thing that I've learned about CEOs is
Mhm.
they, especially in startups, they're innovators. So they want to move on. They want to move on to the next project,
Yes,
the next
that's true.
idea, the next startup. And
Mm.
so my specialty was actually coming in and helping them build the team and systems so they could retire, which is
Okay.
what I'm continuing to focus on now,
Mhm.
in addition to helping people start and
Mm.
make their first 10K online. But at the time, I realized, given this whole story, and I was so sad when I came back to LA. I came back
Really?
to a wonderful apartment, but I was so sad because I wanted to be in Europe. I wanted to
Because you
be
wanna hear you didn't see
traveling.
it
Like,
all. You still had
my
many
dream
things
felt like
to do.
it had been
Yeah,
cut
you
short.
didn't finish. Ah.
And
It's
so
like
it
you
was
woke up in the middle of the night, you're like, "I wanna go back to that beautiful dream,"
it
and
I'm so
it's
grateful that I kept a blog, because otherwise I think I would have I don't know that I would believe that that was true. It
yeah,
was such a
yeah.
magical experience.
But you can always go back whenever you want to,
I could always go back.
the thing.
But
The
what I
holiday.
did is, instead of putting my identity back into work, that was one
Yeah.
of my really big lessons in leaving and stepping
Mhm,
away. And
mhm,
one thing I think is so powerful about going to work in another country is you
mhm.
see different models of work life balance and work life integration, and how other people either place their identity or don't in their work. And so that
Mm.
was very helpful for me to be in London and work, 7-hour days compared to sometimes 14-hour days I was working in LA.
Wow. Yeah.
And so just having a different model of work was really helpful. But when I came back, I realized I can't make my work my identity anymore. So I did
Mm.
two things that I'm really proud of in 2020 when I got back. I lost 50 pounds. So I
Wow.
really took good care of my body.
That was the best thing to do during COVID, right?
I
Everything is
was,
so you
yeah,
took care of
doing
yourself.
yoga and walking and
Good.
lifting weights.
Yeah.
And I had a rule: I wasn't allowed to watch any TV.
But you know what's funny what you say here? It's because you're happy. You're already happy. Your vibrations are better. You were in London. You came back with, a lot of things. So you're ready to make the change. Yeah. And you did
Absolutely.
that. You applied it into your health. That's amazing. So
And
you were not
then
allowed to watch TV, you said?
I wasn't allowed to watch TV. And the second thing I did during COVID, so I lost the 50 pounds. And then the second thing I did is I finished my book manuscript.
Wow.
And
Mm.
so I put all of my free time, if you will, outside of building the business, into my well being and my
Yes.
creativity. And I think those are the two things that ended up nourishing my soul the most, because I
Mm.
know so many people on this broadcast are looking about, empowerment, how to empower yourself. And
Yes.
I feel like the two things that we don't talk about as much around career that
Mhm.
complement you building your career, building your business, or even being the best employee you can be, are really nurturing your
You.
creativity
Yes.
and nourishing your well-being. And if
Yeah.
those two things are in balance, you have a much wholer,
I
happier,
love it. So we can have
joy-filled life.
repeat that slowly. So nurturing your creativity and
Mhm.
nurturing your body.
Yeah,
That's
nourishing your body.
nourishing your.
So learning to move in whatever way feels best for you. Some days that was taking really long runs for me. Sometimes it was just
Mm,
doing slow, gentle stretching on the beach.
mm.
Now,
Take
3 years
care.
later, it's
Love that.
dancing,
Good.
um,
Mhm,
expressing myself with more joyful, fun movements.
mhm.
So yeah, really nourishing your body with well-being, like really good food, great hydration, and moving in
Yes.
a way that feels joyful for you.
I love that. I love that. And you didn't have time to do all that when you were in corporate?
I didn't make time.
You didn't make time. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing
We
to
always
say.
have time. We all
We
have
don't
24 hours a day. Elon Musk runs 3 companies. Like
yes,
them or hate him, we all have time. I
we
just
do.
wasn't prioritizing my
Yeah.
body or my creativity.
Yeah, it's like
And
how you
so,
spend your day. That's what matters, and what makes you level of success and level of feeling fulfilled, actually. Because when you're missing all those components, you don't feel happy no matter what. Um,
absolutely. It's an
so
inside job.
congratulations. It is an inside job. Yeah, and what's my next question was about the book. So congratulations. The book came out last year, 2020. Did you have a copy to show us here? Do you have a copy, Andy?
Oh, I can drop it in the chat. Should I do that?
Yeah, if you
Okay,
can, or we
perfect.
can drop a link later, whoever wants to see
Okay,
it. So
perfect.
let me, but you have a very special title for the book. Can I? Let's
So,
worry about everything. Yeah.
yeah, let's
So
worry about
tell me,
everything.
so tell me about it.
So, hopefully it's humorous, but the premise is I've worried about everything, so you don't have to, and you're welcome. So, it covers
Mm,
everything from figuring out your career to education to breakups to how rude it is that our parents get older and
mm,
start to age. And then,
mm,
of course, my favorite topic is food. So, there's
mhm.
a whole section in the book that talks about what type of food relates to your romantic desires, which is
Wow,
pretty funny, and what to
that's
worry about
interesting.
if
Give
you
us one
order
example.
takeout too much.
Can you give one example about food?
Let's see. I write a little bit about fast food and McDonald's and how maybe you're just trying to nourish your inner child or
Sure.
have like a nostalgic experience.
Yes.
Sushi, I think, means that you wish you were naked more often because you're
Oh
eating
my
raw and
God,
naked
I didn't know that one.
food.
Oh my God.
So, and then there's a whole section about what to worry
Funny.
about if you just sit on the couch and order takeout with your significant other every
That's
day.
I'm gonna worry a little bit about this sushi thing because my kids love sushi. If I ask them something, they'll prefer sushi than McDonald's. There's something about that. Oh, that's so funny.
It's
Okay.
all in good
So,
fun.
uh-huh.
So
And
the
so
idea,
what did that study make you discover about food and about yourself, really?
I think for me, it was a connection, especially as I looked at the process of losing weight
Mm,
and not just losing weight once, but I actually lost even more weight later
mhm.
and kept it off, which is very rare statistically when you lose that
Yeah.
much weight. And
And
I
fast.
realized,
You lose it
and
fast.
fast. And what I realized is my life wasn't nourishing.
Mm.
I had
So you
this
were looking
gnawing,
for
aching
food.
hunger.
So you were looking for food to nourish yourself.
I was using food like other people might use drugs or might numb
Yeah.
out watching too much TV.
Yeah.
I think
True.
food can be a very um,
Addictive. Mm,
addictive
mm.
behavior. And
That's true.
so I lived in Los Angeles at the time. I had access to all the best restaurants pretty much in the world, Michelin star down to taco trucks on the street and everything in between.
Mm.
And I wasn't nourishing my creativity. That's the biggest connection. I
Yeah.
wasn't allowing myself creative practices and creating something for the joy of it. It was always about how do I produce more for work? How do I improve my economic situation? How do I get better at this skill so I can make more money? And
Mm.
that left me in a place of gnawing, aching hunger because I wasn't allowing myself to be connected to my creativity and also as connected to people in my life in terms of interpersonal relationships
Yeah.
because income, the pursuit of income had become my identity. And so
Yeah.
one of my key principles now moving forward in life is that there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money or wanting to make a lot of money. But now I place that in context with I want to live a free, whole, and happy life. And so I don't want to look to food or any other thing outside of me
Mm.
to nourish me. But when
Mm.
I actually turn my creativity on, when I turn my creative process on and allow myself to be creative,
Mhm.
that could be everything from how you set the table to arranging flowers to planning a birthday party. Like creativity doesn't have to be writing a book, it could be
True.
anything in life where you
Even
give
the
yourself
simplest
that
things.
joyful freedom
Mm.
to make life a little bit more beautiful. One of my
Mm.
favorite authors says beauty organizes chaos. So if you
Mm.
give yourself permission to make something in life a little bit more beautiful, I think that's what's turning on your creativity. And so for me, that was the big move that kept me
I love the way
happy.
you put it. When you look for beauty and try to bring beauty in your life, you become more creative. Very nice. Yeah. I have a nice comment for you. Thank you, Dr. Hind, for the continue of your work. Oh, you're so beautiful. Thank you, Zara. Your guest cast brings this precious asset which combines voice, humor, art to emancipate business. Ah, it's a Proust Madeleine. It's
Thank
really sweet. Oh my God.
you.
That this is so. French based incredible mathematician who's writing this. So take that as a beautiful compliment. Thank you, Zahrati.
Thank you.
And so that's really beautiful. And I like the way you say when you use beauty, you become creative. And it's so true. And when you find beauty in the simplest thing, then that's what triggers your creativity. It's really the simplest things. Because sometimes we go sophisticated and you want to, create something doesn't exist, but you don't have to. Beauty is everywhere. You have to see it. And more you see it, more you become creative. Very nicely said, nicely expressed, and it's so true. And that's what's missing for us. Sometimes we have the most beautiful, expensive everything, but you can't see it because you're not even present when you're too busy with the corporate game, which is a game, right?
It's a game.
Running after numbers, running after responsibility, running after the big corner office. It becomes a game. And yeah, wow. So your book, it's what does it give as an advice? What is a good thing that all this amazing people watching us can get from you today from the book? Tell me.
Absolutely. So I know a lot of us worry, and the worry for me kept me really small, and it kept me feeling really isolated because I felt like everything I was worried about were special things to me. And what was really interesting is when I started talking to people about the book and talking to other people about their worries, I realized I was far less alone. Lots of people are worried. And what the book did for me is it gave me a voice of humor to talk about what I really worry about. And everything in the book is true, by the way, in terms of things I worry about. They're all true to life.
Wow.
But what really humbled me is people would tell me early on in reading, oh my gosh, I was worried about that too. And you gave voice to something that I've never told anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's a part at the end. I would encourage you to read the very end of the book. And there's a letter to break up with worry.
Nice that. Yeah.
And it's a letter, and I would encourage you to write your own letter.
Okay.
But in terms of what you were just mentioning about how when we seek out beauty in our life, it helps us feel more grounded. There's a really simple way I can recommend to anyone on this call to take some of these thoughts and actually implement them. And that's either seek out sunsets or seek out sunrises. They are some of the most beautiful times of the day.
It's true.
And when I started deciding to intentionally cultivate my creativity, I made a commitment to either watch one sunrise or one sunset a day. If I could do both, that was amazing. So there's this nice parentheses in the day.
Yes.
But there's so much beauty, and when we're so busy, we miss it. And so it's very grounding, and it's something we can do for free. It's something that we can do with our loved ones or by ourselves. And it's something that reminds us like every day is a gift. Every day is beautiful. The earth is masterful in her creation process.
And the colors are magical.
Colors. Yes. And the texture and the light, and just remembering the day comes and the day goes.
Yeah. And then you remember the miracle that you are and where you live, and that you're alive and you can watch that and feel the moment. I think what's missing often, and that's what we always look for when we, you want to leave the corporate, start your business, or which you can also find at the corporate if you really knew how to manage your time. And I think corporations could be also very fulfilling when they align with your inner mission, is to be able to feel the presence and feel and use your senses to be present in every moment. And we don't do that because we think it's going to take out our part of our day. But in the opposite, it actually brings your day back to you because you anchor it. Yeah. And I love that. So what time do you like most? Do you like the sunrise or you go look for the sunset?
I like them both. I've been getting up closer to 5 a.m. every day this year.
Wow.
So I've been challenging myself.
5 a.m.
I'm sorry?
Your sunrise is at 5 a.m. now?
No, sunrise is about 7 a.m. So I'm up before the sunrise.
Here it's like 7:30.
Yeah, it's wonderful to actually have some time before the sun even rises. But my personal, my personal favorite time of day is sunset. I love watching the day erase and there's this really beautiful element to Twilight. And one of my favorite authors talks about how when you shed neon light on your soul, so when we're talking a lot about identity and work and even the things we worry about, like everything in this conversation, if you shed a neon light on it, your soul tends to retract. Like if you imagine a fluorescent light in a hospital or in a
Mm.
stale office building, like that light, or in a dressing room at a department store, it's like very harsh and you almost feel like you're retracting.
It's like
But the
white.
light,
It's like, yeah.
it's too bright, right? It's artificial. But the light of twilight, as it's softening and the days erasing, it's like the in between time.
Hmm.
And our souls tend to come alive in those in between times because the light is softer. And so to
Yeah.
me, that's a reminder to be soft to myself. Like I hold myself to very high standards. I love to accomplish things and I
Hmm.
want to go out and make a big impact in the world, as I know
Sure.
everyone on this call does. But
Yes.
there's also a reminder during the day to be really soft and to hold yourself in the light of twilight because you're always being and becoming something new. All of us, every day, each breath, each day. And so holding
Mm.
yourself in a softer light, even just for a few moments of the day, can help you see your own beauty and feel like your soul can come alive in a little bit of a different way. So I prefer sunset.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And it's so true. When you harmonize with that softness of light and of nature, you start really anchoring it inside you and you start treating yourself with that softness
Mm,
more, which we don't do even, and more as women, right? Because we push ourselves more and you prove yourself more, and you get become really tough on yourself. Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. So this is how you help the executives and others, is to really bring that softness back into their life. Yeah,
yeah.
because we lose touch of it. Mm.
And honoring the creative process. Like
The creative.
business can be a very creative process. But when we're just driven to outcomes and numbers, and we're not necessarily investing in people and stories
It
and
doesn't.
adventure, it just becomes one dimensional. So, to your point at the beginning of the call, why I moved to Europe was I had this movie in my mind. I had
Yeah.
this image playing. And
Mm.
so I think that's a huge tool each of us can use. It's not about necessarily um, making your life look like a movie, but the movie that's already playing in your mind is playing out how you're deciding to take action.
Yeah.
So, in order to move to become that perpetual activator,
Yeah.
sometimes you need to refresh the movie. You need to
Yeah.
update some footage. You need to change the story
You need
and
to
go
change.
live a story.
But that's true. But I still, and I do believe that everyone can play her movie by being a star in her movie, because often we let others be, that focus, and the one deciding and doing things for us, and taking the second role in the back seat. But when you take action and become in charge of your life, it's like, okay, I'm not happy here. That's what you did. I'm not happy here. I want to change. I'm packing and I'm going. So you really put yourself and take yourself. That's taking actions. That's you deciding on your life. And that's leadership, because leadership is really leading yourself first, leading yourself and leading it with so much empathy and beauty and softness. And that's the new way of leading. And even corporate today, if they want to really thrive and change, that's what they need to bring more of, that humanness and that empathy. And I love the way you describe it. It's really the twilight softness. I think it's just so beautifully said. That's so nice. I want to, this is such a beautiful conversation and so soothing, I feel, to me, and I'm sure to everyone who's listening to us, because we kind of really, it's just bring you down, ground you to feel like, you know what? There is, this is the best energy you can be in when you want to thrive in your business, even though you feel like you want to work more to go faster, but sometimes just calming down, make you move fast. I saw that you are also a singer,
Yes.
which is incredible, because last episode we had an opera singer also join in. So
Mm.
I seem to attract all those beautiful beauty and voices. How does that how did that play in the back of your mind, being so connected with music? and you add into it all this beauty.
I absolutely love singing. I've recently found out there is a league of professional karaoke singers.
Mhm.
So maybe in the future I will join that and compete internationally. I love karaoke. It's so much fun. It's my favorite sport.
That's fun.
But I was trained as a professional singer growing up and I competed.
Mm.
And what I feel singing brings to my life, and I believe everyone can learn how to use their voice.
Mm.
Um, Actually, biologically, it activates your vagus nerve. So
Mm.
it provides an internal massage. And
Mm.
so when you sing, it doesn't matter if it's good, it doesn't matter how it sounds. There's so much judgment we put on our voices.
That's
But
true.
when you sing, you're actually massaging this vagus nerve, which is very calming to your energy system. You're opening up your throat, quite literally, and
Mm.
letting words flow through you. And
Mm.
music carries such an important vibration, and different frequencies of music, we found out with science, will affect our mood. I mean, you
Mm.
know, when you put on a feel good song, your
Yeah,
whole vibe changes, right?
absolutely.
And so singing it is actually taking it into your body. And so one of the things I learned as a singer, and for anyone
Mhm.
here who wants to be a better, singer in the car or singer
Uh-huh.
when you put
Or in the
uh,
shower.
in the shower, or if you're cooking dinner and you put some music
Yeah.
on. A lot of us, when we don't know how to sing, we just shoot the sound right out of our mouth. But really, the secret to singing is you're actually singing from the bottom of yourself, like your bottom of
Yes.
your gut. And you're
Yeah.
actually moving the sound all the way up. You're using the fullness of your body. You're breathing from your diaphragm down to the center of your belly,
Mm.
and then bringing that breath all the way forward. And so the sound comes out a little softer and a little rounder when you breathe deeper
And
down
more
into
and
you
deeper and deeper.
and deeper.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. Well, aren't you an amazing lady? This is so delightful. Thank you so much, Cassie, for joining me today and joining us in this Women's Empowerment Series. Thank you, everyone, for your beautiful comments and for being with us, all the ladies, Cynthia, Zahra, Leila, and Kate. So delightful. If you're watching us on replay, we're going to drop also the link for your book, Cassie, so that whoever wants to really find their worry in the book, because they will know. And thank you so much for coming.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It was a true joy. And thank you, everyone, for being on the call today.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Mm.